root formation. As you know, the summation point is called as Hertwig epithelial root sheath. And this root sheath determines if tooth has a single or multiple roots, is short or long, or is curved or straight. So development of the root begins after enamel and dentin formation reach the future cementomeningeal. So it will ask you in the exam, when does root start forming? Then it should be simple. After the enamel dentin formation reach the future cemento-enamel junction. If cemento-enamel junction is not formed, roots will not start forming. Remember that. When the cells, the structure which is responsible is called as Hertwig epithelial root sheath. And when it meets, it will bend at 90 degrees. And that area is called as epithelial diaphragm. So here you can see a structure which is bent at 90 degree or 45 degree, which is called as epithelial diaphragm. And they will go on forming, they are approaching each other, and they will give rise to single or multi-rooted teeth as such. Here you can see again root dentin, dental sac, epithelial diaphragm, and epithelial rest over there. Sometimes what happens, this epithelial root sheath gets fragmented, and you will get accessory canal while doing root formation. So it is not that tooth has only one apical opening. Tooth has multiple openings connection with the periodontal ligament through accessory canals or through lateral canals. And what is the fate of enamel root sheath? Hertwig? It is called as epithelial cell rest of Malassez. And this will persist in adults within the periodontal ligament. So fate of dental lamina is cell rest of Serre. Similarly, fate of epithelial root sheath of Hertwig is called as epithelial cell rest of Malassez. And M should be capital, I'm sorry, M is small. So this will persist in adults within the periodontal ligament. And this can give rise to, again, like dental lamina remnants, it can give rise to odontogenic cysts and tumors, and especially epithelial cell rest of Malassez is responsible for radicular cyst. You will come when you go to third year in the subsequent classes, that epithelial root sheath is responsible for inflammatory odontogenic cyst called as radicular cyst or periapical cyst. This I cannot explain in such a small thing, but this is the way the single-rooted, bi-rooted or trifurcated roots are formed. And here everywhere they will have different epithelial root sheath of Hertwig over there. The moment root starts forming, it will push the tooth up. And that's how the active eruption will start taking. Tooth will move from its developmental position towards the eruptive position towards the in the oral cavity as the root starts forming over there. So as the epithelial root sheath breaks down, cells from the dental sac migrate to the surface of the root dentin and differentiate into cementoblast. So you can say that odontoblast can give rise to ameloblast. Similarly, dentin can give rise to cementum for cementoblast for cementum over there. Again, all these things comes under reciprocal induction, and so root is formed by cementum over there. So soon after the root formation begins, tooth begins to erupt until it reaches the final position. When roots are forming, the supporting structures are also forming, like periodontal ligament and cementum. As the root sheath fragments, the dental follicle cells will penetrate between the epithelial cells and lie close to the newly formed root dentin. These cells will differentiate into cementoblast, which will make cementum, and fibers of the periodontal ligament, which will also form to cells of the dental follicle, will get anchored. And remember, when they ask you about Sharpish fibers are not only present in cementum. Remember in Viva question, when you draw in cementum, but Sharpish fibers are nothing but extension of the periodontal ligament fibers in the cementum as well as alveolar bone. Remember that much. So Sharpish fibers are not only present in cementum, they are also present in alveolar bone also. So as I told you, inner epithelium give rise to ameloblast, give rise to enamel. Dental papilla give rise to odontoblast, form dentin and pulp. Dental sac has outer, middle, and the inner portion. Outer portion gives rise to alveolar bone, middle portion gives rise to periodontal ligament, and the inner portion gives rise to cementum. Alveolar bone, PDL, and cementum, they are part of periodontium. One missing part of periodontium is gingiva. So in short, the odontogenic apparatus is basically responsible for three parts of periodontium. That is alveolar bone, PDL, and cementum. So at the end of the day, you should remember that tooth is an organ which is made up of different parts, tissues, but in reality, it is a monolithic organ. It's a one-piece structure. For our understanding, we are divided into enamel, dentine, cementum, pulp, PDL, and alveolar bone. So that's why when you are treating tooth, remember you are not treating tooth that is enamel, dentine, pulp, and cementum. You are affecting other supportive structure which are developmentally derived from the same tooth structure, that is dental axomesenchyme, which is derived from neural crest cells. So when you are treating enamel, you are treating dentine, you are treating cementum, pulp, alveolar bone, periodontal ligament, everything. So don't say you are treating only enamel. So this is for your record, for your extra information. Dental lamina starts forming at the 42 to 48 days birth stage of the deciduous incisors, canines, and molars at the 55 to 50 days. Bell stage for the deciduous is 14 weeks, dentine at the 18 weeks, and 32 weeks for the permanent first molars. Remember one thing, at birth, all the deciduous teeth are there, plus you got permanent central incisors as well as permanent molars. It is not that when the child is born, only deciduous teeth are there. There are no teeth in the mouth, but teeth are forming inside the jawbone. So which teeth are there? All the deciduous teeth plus permanent central and permanent first molar. Remember, those teeth are already formed. Why this is very important? Because in case of forensic odontology, if you want to know the age of the person, then you can find out from the development of tooth. So as a dentist, you should know which tooth is formed where, and that's why dental